You're listening to the Beautiful Minds Podcast.
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 The Beautiful Minds Podcast with Marlon Dundas.
This is episode 4 of the Millennial Perspective. Today we have a very special guest. This is Marlon and this is Brittany. And today we're on with Fatimat. Fatimat is a friend of mine who I've met, I think it was 4 or 5 months ago.
It was, I think, last year. Come on.
Time flies.
Come on now.
It was a long time ago.
Gave you a year of my life.
Yeah. But
That's all right.
as you can tell, somebody's busy.
We freestyle it over here. Woo.
So Fatimat is actually, I have it all written down, so let me read it off. Senior Associate Data Analyst at an email marketing company by day, and then by night, blogger, a vegan Black millennial blogger. Yes. I am a professional meat eater, but I support your lifestyle and I support your intentions.
He didn't support me when I did it, but it's okay.
No, I mean, hold on. That was tongue in cheek. That was definitely tongue in cheek, and I just don't like being lied to. That's what I said, and the reason why is
I think the government is lying.
He'll never get past it. That's his only reason for not even trying vegan food. It's a lie.
You can never convince somebody to do something. It's about their education.
Absolutely.
Once they realize it, I mean, that's how I end up being a vegan because, like I said, my boyfriend is a vegan 5 years, and like he never really pushed me. He never really pushed me to become a vegan or a vegetarian in that sense. But once I saw What the Health, I was like,
Oh, poor thing.
I walked out the house the next day with like bags of meat. I was like, it's
gotta go.
100%.
I mean, so here's the thing. I know that if I go to a vegan restaurant and it's vegan chicken wings, I know it's not chicken wings.
I know it's not chicken wings.
So don't tell me it's chicken wings.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually made like chicken, vegan chicken for Thanksgiving, and I kept calling it chicken.
Yes, thank you. Yes, at least make the effort.
Everybody was like, just stop. No, it's my chicken.
Yes,
like,
it is.
No.
It really is. And I told a story the other day. So people say they watch What the Health, and first the health aspect of things as well, and I get that. And then there's the moral aspect as well, because people feel as if as humans, like we have the option of eating other things other than just a living organism. I once named my pet fowl back at home in Guyana, and my uncle chopped the head off and we ate it for dinner.
And how did you feel?
It was like it was a rough night.
It's tough.
But the thing was I guess I understood. I was made to understand that at a young age. That
especially in the West Indies.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is what. Well, I mean, if you want to eat it, this is what. Right. So I kind of grew in that way. So I don't think I'm too removed from the idea that I've been urbanized, right? Because I'm in the city or whatever, and I'm not removed from like what what's the word? I've been removed from like what it takes to get my food. Because I think that's the argument a lot of vegans use. Like the moral, it's like you're so far removed from it, and you don't even know what goes into this, and you're just eating it, whatever. Yeah, and I get that. So I don't think I'm so far removed from it, but I think I understand where it comes from. I understand what goes into it, and I finish every plate that I eat. So
another West Indian thing. So I do the same thing. I'll keep eating because our mom didn't like force us to eat or finish our food and all of that. But she always expressed the importance of like, some days we didn't have anything to eat. Some days we only had white rice and that's it. Yeah. And like, even when it comes to our leftovers, she's like, oh no, give that to me. Come on, put it together. I'm going to make me a plate.
Or save it for the next day.
Right. Or save it for, put some aluminum foil over it, save it for the next day. Very true. So we were taught, even though we never had to struggle through it, we were taught to appreciate every morsel of the food.
Yeah, so it's not.
Don't miss anything.
Exactly, and I don't think. I get it though. I really do.
Yeah, you can eat all of your veggies too.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly.
Plug.
Point taken, made, and approved. I could eat more veggies.
It's an hour-long conversation. You can go on and on.
Welcome to the vegan hour.
Exactly.
I'm actually down to trick Marlon one of these days into just having like some seitan or something like
Oh
that.
My goodness.
Just something
One
you
day,
just can't detect. Like, oh, this is good. What is this?
Yeah, what is this?
Tofu. Chicken.
I went to Seasoned Vegan in Harlem.
I love that place.
But
it's not expensive.
It was
it's kind of expensive.
It was really.
Oh.
And I remember on my way home sitting like in the car on the way home, like my esophagus is on fire.
Oh my!
Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was, but I knew going into it. I was trying to see what a vegan entirely vegan dinner was like.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all off to a bad start.
I got second try. Urban Vegan Kitchen. That's where we're going.
Listen,
Urban Vegan Kitchen is by Lord forgive me as I'm being recorded.
Shameless plug.
And I can't remember the street. It's by West 4th. It's not far from West 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in that area.
Okay, there's another one. I think Red Bamboo.
Take 2. All right, we're back on.
We're back.
All right. So we were discussing vegan food, and I think the competition was so spicy that the computer just couldn't handle it. So
hot.
We're back on again. So these episodes, these Millennial Perspective episodes, are a month in review from the perspective of people in my network who I feel exemplify the exact essence of what the Beautiful Minds is all about, right? And it's pretty much people who follow their intuition, whose ideas and thoughts are perpetuated from their background, where they're from, and trying to make the world a better place. So we look at things in that lens, right? We look at things in a magnifying glass and try to see what's going on in the world today from our perspective, and we talk about it. That's what we're at. So I think Fatimat should go first. Since you're a guest of honor, we'll have you on. We'll have you go. What's the biggest November news that?
There's so much.
Yeah.
Should we start on politics?
There's a lot.
There always is a lot.
Yeah, I know you guys have something on politics, right?
Of course.
I'll go to Bitcoins. Bitcoins, when it first started, like everybody was like, what is this? Like, it's nothing. Like, the government try to like downplay it. Like, it's nothing. Mm-hmm. And now, maybe a couple of days ago, it reached 10,000. It went past the $10,000 mark. Mm-hmm. And people who originally invested in this put like pennies in. Mm-hmm. And like those pennies are now worth $10,000. Mm-hmm. And it went up, I think, up to like 11,000 like a couple of days ago. And it's just like, man, like, what was I doing? Right. How come I didn't invest in this?
Why did I not get this money?
Right. So I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are trying to like get people to understand what Bitcoins are. And, and then there's also some people who are trying to benefit off of people's ignorance and trying to, get them. I think there's like a multi marketing something. It's like, like the Amway, the pyramid scheme type thing where you like invite people. Amway. Yeah, I saw a couple of those, like, invest a little bit and then get some more people and then invest in a little bit and then your Bitcoin starts growing.
Yeah. Can't stand those.
Yeah. So like, I feel like I'm just threading lightly, just trying to educate myself so I can get on top of this because,
But isn't the floor too high now for you to get in?
It could be if you don't have the capital, right? But like what did Jay-Z say? Dumbo was like 2 million. Now it's what? Dumbo, it might be a little bit, but like I feel like if you can get one share, and I really don't know what they call it per se, but if you can get one in, why not? Right. So
I think it's probably look into. I know there are certain like investments where it's penny stock or you can invest in a part of a share, not an entire share of a company. I don't know what it's called, but I'm pretty sure sooner than later that's going to happen with Bitcoin as well, where collectively the three of us can all pool our money together and have one share, as opposed to I'm pretty sure that's bound to happen eventually. So it's a pretty cool concept. I mean, we were just talking about it off air, right?
Yeah, and just for the children that are listening, so I asked Marlon before. I was like, okay, I've heard this word Bitcoin, but I have no idea what it is. Mm-hmm. What is that? Like, is this something that
stab at that?
As currency? Right. Like, I know it's tough
it's really hard to like define, except, I think the simplest way to define it is like virtual money.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like it's not really tangible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a combination of different currencies. Mm-hmm. There's the yen, there's the euro, there's the pound, there's the dollar. And there's a mixture of that within that Bitcoin that gives it the value per se. Any more than that is just me still trying to understand it.
How it was created is very unknown. No one knows who really created it. I think I was arguing with a friend of mine a few months ago about this, and she was saying that it allows the black market to have a currency.
Right, and that's a way a lot of like things are smuggled, like
mm-hmm.
Fentanyl and like mm-hmm. those illegal.
You can't track it. You can't track it.
You guys seen that movie Dope?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how he like kind of like got.
I missed that
Bitcoin.
one.
Yeah, he was doing some Bitcoin
wow.
in the background. Yeah.
Time to rewatch everyone on Netflix.
It's been a long time coming.
Uh-huh.
It's just like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should start getting my coins up.
Pun intended.
Exactly. So for me, like November, that was November 8th, right? That was an election day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we had we had an amazing turnout on the left-leaning Democratic side for a lot of results.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read off. I wrote it all down. I'll read off just exactly what I'm talking about here. So,
nice.
We have Ravi Bala, who's the first New Jersey Sikh mayor who overcame racist ads to kind of demean and denounce his campaign. We have Kathy Tran, first Asian American elected to the Virginia House of Delegates. We have Ven Gopal, first Indian American to win legislative seat in Monmouth County, New Jersey. We have Danica Rome, first ever openly transgender state representative, and this is in Virginia.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that was huge. Yeah. And she said that she really only decided to run because
wasn't she going against somebody that was running for re-election?
It was like 13 years, something like that. It was a long time, right? Mm-hmm. I could be mixing some stories up there, but she only ran because she hated the traffic congestion in her neighborhood, and she ended up winning.
And now she's a symbol.
Exactly. And she said she's like, I didn't run because I was transgender. Like, yeah, I am. But I ran because I'm a citizen and I know what people are trying to achieve in this neighborhood and in my community. And that's what I wanted to help. And it's funny. It's like she didn't run on that. So that's really reassuring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Andrea Jenkins, first openly trans elected public official of the Minneapolis City Council. I believe that is a black woman, I believe,
mm-hmm.
as well. Vi Lyles, I forgot what the actual pronunciation is. Charlotte, North Carolina, first female African American mayor, and Elizabeth Guzman and Hala Ayala, first Hispanic woman elected to the state's House of Delegates, and I believe this is Virginia as well. That's huge, right? That's huge, and you can think of a lot of them women too, right?
Right. Exactly.
But here's my question, and this is the biggest thing that I fear. Where I think like progress can turn into regression. Why? I hope to God that we voted for these people because their policies spoke to us, rather than we're so put off by the right that we're going to vote for whatever it is that's not right leaning. I hope that we voted for them based on their policies and not because this is a trans woman or this is because this is a minority woman and it'll be cool to see him in office. Because there's that same thinking that got Donald Trump elected because we need to see a white person back in office again. Some people believe that, right? Mm-hmm. And I just hope that's the case.
Yeah, you can also think of the opposite too, because with millennials, it's really easy to just look and say, okay, which one makes sense? Which one even looks more like me? Which one is making a difference? Which one is going to be like a hashtag?
That's like the final push, though.
Yeah.
I feel like, when you're running for an office or, position, your goal is to speak what you are trying to, change. And that's what people really like rally behind you for. But I think once it gets down to like the final hour or like the final few weeks, that's when I guess you can start using like that push or that like I forget what you call it. It's not propaganda, but like you pretty much try to like sway
that
people.
rhetoric, right?
Yeah, sway people that, okay, well, maybe you should pay attention to me because of this and this and this.
Right.
And I mean, I feel like it's really the person who's voting to take it upon themselves. To educate themselves.
I'm not putting on the elected official. I'm putting it on the people. Like, I just hope that the reason why those people voted for these change makers, right? I just hope the reason why is not because this person is going to buck the system. That's just I really do hope that it's because this person's needs, this person's policies speak to your needs. Because listen, I'm an Obama supporter all the way through. But we all know people who voted for Obama just because he was a black guy, a black man.
Right.
And do you remember like when during that 08 election year when MTV and BET were going crazy?
Oh yeah,
go out and vote. Diddy was on my TV every 10 seconds. Go out and vote. Go out and vote.
I was in college, and that was like my first time voting. I was just like,
same.
I was registered. I was ready.
Yeah,
right.
Before I started classes,
it
was really
a social thing.
They made it exactly. They made it a social, socially accepted thing, or socially what's the word, like required thing. Like, you gotta do it.
Right.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that in 2016.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I didn't either.
Right.
Absolutely. Even his re-election wasn't as big.
Exactly.
Well, for Obama, I'm saying.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I don't. The only reason I can think of it is because like we kind of shifted from that. Like we shifted. Like I think about we shifted towards that during Obama's first election. It was like we need to see somebody who looks different.
Yeah.
Right. And listen, I think he did amazing things. Yeah. We're gonna talk about his biggest blip in a few minutes. We will. But all in all, like I'm glad to have lived during this era because of that.
Course.
But like, I just hope that we didn't do that same thing again. A lot of us didn't do that for the same reason that I know a lot of people did use for the election of Obama the first time. So that's my spiel. Now that video from CNN in November that came out of slave trade in Libya. Take it away.
Me? What you mean? I mean, when I saw that video, I was kind of like what? This is 2017 and this is actually happening, and like it's very under wraps. And I don't know if it was CNN. Was it CNN when they went? They talked to this guy, and then like they took this truck like. It was all dark, right? It was all dark. Yeah, they
CNN,
went to this like sketchy place.
Yeah, I think so.
They couldn't even really bring their cameras. It was like under like
they had hidden cameras.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They was talking to this guy. They sold this guy for like $400. It was like super cheap, and I don't know. It's just it's heart wrenching, especially when a lot of these people are. First, especially because this is only being publicized now. Right?
Yes,
this has been happening for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you're taking advantage of these people who are fleeing. These places where they really can't make do for themselves, and they're going abroad. In hopes of bettering themselves, and in turn sending money back home. Yeah. That's pretty much immigration. That's what people do.
Every immigrant I know does that.
That's how my parents came here,
exactly.
And that's how like ancestors and like, these politicians and these not George Washington, but like, like the Irish and the Italian, like,
the first inhabitants pretty much.
They all came from somewhere to get a better life. Right. So, for the fact that you're taking advantage of people who really can't, who are desperate, it's just so lame.
Right,
that's just the word for it.
It's scary. Shameless plug, but I'm actually writing a blog about this in a few. But it's no, because here's the thing. Because I came to this country 15 years ago, right?
Right. And I'm an immigrant as well.
And I came. Where'd you come from?
Nigeria. And there are a few Nigerian people who was sold in this program. That's the thing. It's Nigerians, Ghanaians.
It hits close
everywhere.
to home for you.
Yeah.
And remember coming here, and I know that the feeling of me coming to the United States, right? And it was a place that my family had identified as the way out from wherever that we were at. Now, I don't think we were as desperate as a lot of these people are, because you hear their stories and they're crazy. Mm-hmm. But I remember I go back to myself and how lucky I am that I was born in this patch of dirt as opposed to that patch of dirt. Yeah. I was born in South America as opposed to Africa. Right. Like that was literally the only stroke of luck that I got. Right. So when we're gonna look at this as a society, as a United States society, we're so far removed from it that we're gonna look at it and then we're gonna be like, can we donate money?
Yeah. Right.
All right, cool. All right, yeah. Cool. Keep moving. And it's like I'm so lucky. Like, guys, I'm so freaking lucky that I was born in a situation where I had family here and things went south home and we found a way to get my mother, my brother, and I here for us to have a better life. There's luck. There's no way else to look at it but that. Yeah. No one, like nothing else I did got us there other than the fact that I was just born into that situation.
Same here.
And that these people are born into a really, 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 really unfortunate situation. And I just feel like as people who have a lot more resources at our disposal, what more can we do? Mm-hmm. And I feel like my hands are tied. I don't know what more we can do because I don't know too much about it.
I don't know what the situation is. Is it political? Is it economical?
Really,
for the country?
There's a lot to it. There's so many layers to it. Libya itself is just like, there's a lot of layers with it, with Gaddafi back in the day, and how the government has just been like toppled over and over and over, and there's just like different figures constantly. And then
our fault.
Yes. Dare I say Obama? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one of his things.
He said it himself.
Yeah,
he said
that's one of his things that that he really didn't really have a plan in place after the fact. And if you think about it, Libya was fine. When
by Gaddafi all accounts, like comparatively, yes.
To not, yeah. And I mean, not to say that this is the government's doing. Like. I can not to say confidently, but I don't think the government knows 100% that this is happening, and it's pretty much people doing like the dirty work or behind the scenes stuff. So, yeah.
So,
and celebrities can only do so much even as well. Like I've seen a few posts from celebrities like Chris Brown, Bella Hadid.
Yeah, there was this thing. Well, the Nigerian president actually said that he's working on a way to get some Nigerians back, which we are one Africa, we are one people. There was this one. I forget his name. I think he's a Cameroonian football player,
who paid for them.
That was a mess, but people were saying that he was going to fly a private jet and get all the Cameroonians back, and I'm like, when I first heard that, I was like, oh, that's cool, but like
that's a feat.
To say that it's just one group of people that you're trying to rescue is not cool. Like they all came to this place to in hopes of achieving one thing. And to say that you're going to just remove just one group of people is just not fair. Yeah. The UN needs to do much better as far as like handling the situation. Mm-hmm. So,
I'll leave it off at this. I in my experience with citizens of various African countries, what I found is that they're still being that continent is still being exploited till this day and used and abused for just resources and its brain power. Mm-hmm. And I think that I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I really do think that the powers that be understand what that continent stands to become if handled correctly, and they're keeping it under wraps for their own personal gain. Yeah. And I think that I don't necessarily buy that the government didn't know. And I don't necessarily buy that that other forces aren't at play here.
Absolutely.
And I think that I'm not going to get into like my experiences that I've had, but my personal life, I really do think that there's some amazing people there. There's some amazing resources that are there as well.
Yeah.
And we don't know about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to leave it at that. Speaking of which, what the hell happened to Mugabe? I don't know what that is. What happened? What happened?
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, Mugabe is a meme. Mugabe has been, what do you call him? But he has presided over Zimbabwe for 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much, I think after they became independent, Mugabe stepped in as the prime minister, I wouldn't say.
But didn't he just like walk in and like, all right, I'm prime minister now?
I would be lying if I told you yes. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think.
No. I think there was more political, like.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I hope
no,
so.
He actually has some background.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he stepped in as like, okay, I'll be the one, and he was great, you know. And to this day, he's not bad, you know. But if you want to keep a democratic rule, you gotta, you know, give other people a turn. And what he's been doing is he's been rewriting the Constitution, you know, making sure that he is constantly reelected and is in role. And, you know, he even, like, up till just recent, you know, he was trying to get his wife to kind of like take over, or like, you know, like pretty much have like a dynasty going on. Right. So, the military was like, nah. So they kind of had like a coup against him, and they put him on house arrest with his wife. And now he, you know, CNN kept sending me like alerts, like Mugabe stepped down. Mugabe said he didn't step down.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was. I remember just sitting. I'm sitting at home and I'm like, Mugabe stepped down. Oh, I guess. Mugabe didn't. I'm like, okay, I guess not. Military's planning a coup. I'm like, military's not planning a coup. I'm like, what is going on in there? Like, trying to get the facts straight. Yeah. But then we're gonna go back to the 24-hour news cycle. Like, it's not who gets it right; it's who gets it there first, right? So,
yeah. So, yeah.
So that's pretty much the whole gist of it. Well, now we know. I didn't know.
No, that guy he's such a character. The family is a character.
So, but are there any humanitarian crises at play here?
No. So their market is kind of low. Their economy is pretty
so that's
low.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, like they're not in war. They're not in Africa, but like it's not like dire. Mm-hmm. But it's just the fact that you're not being constitutional and you're taking advantage of the system.
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
And that's really corrupt, which a lot of countries in Africa are corrupt. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And the fact that this happened it's big, mm-hmm. So that's good.
I love the segue because speaking of corrupt and unconstitutional, my boy Marlon.
That's my man. Yo, he is draining the swamp.
But just think about it. If you're
other swamp.
If you're James Comey, right? James Comey is that bitter like ex or whatever. It's like, I told you, and you just like I feel bad for James Comey in that way because he said it. James Comey started the process of this happening. Was relieved of his duties.
He wasn't getting it done.
He wasn't. Yeah, he was taking.
He wasn't getting it done.
And Mueller pretty much just picked it up and ran with it from there. And it's pretty interesting to me that that happened. Like
it needed to happen.
No, I mean it did, but like I'm thinking to myself, like, how brazen are you to think that you can do that? Right? You can conspire with a foreign nation.
Oh, you talking about Trump?
Yeah. It was right there the whole time. Like Comey knew it, and then
Flynn?
Mueller comes in and follows up right after the same information. I don't think the information changed.
But I think the situation is that Comey was more like interactive with Trump more.
Mm-hmm. And Mueller didn't.
And Mueller, yeah, he's just like, I'm coming in. This is what the situation is. This is what needs to happen.
Okay.
There's that buffer. There's like Trump can be like, hey, tell me like I'm good, right? Like what did he say? Like I'm good, right? So and that's like a use of like power that you're pretty much trying to like twist.
I'm good, right?
Right. Right. So
and then Comey be like, I mean,
he was too soft for it. I'm sorry, he had to go.
Ain't that a metaphor for life?
Was that he had to go?
Ain't that a metaphor for life? Though it's like usually a nice guy finishes last, and Comey was just like, I'm gonna be nice, I'm gonna be respectful, I'm gonna honor the seat. And
No, can you imagine if he was still here? I think we would still be like first of all, who was the guy that what's his name? That Rob Mueller just indicted.
Jesus, Flynn, Mike Flynn.
Flynn, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like if he was still on, like Flynn would not. I think this would be like 2 years from now. Maybe when Trump is finished with his term is when you'll start hearing things.
Stuff will start coming out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm still gonna. We're gonna. It just happened today, right? So was it today?
Yesterday, and then today was confirmed.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're still gonna wait and hear about what develops from this.
Right.
But
I think there's more people coming.
There's more.
I'm
coming.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
As there always is. There's always another one.
I feel like this administration is like a sitcom, not a sitcom, but like a reality show.
I can't take any of this seriously.
I feel like from here until I own my own company, every time I apply to a job, I'm going to apply to the position that I want, and not necessarily the one that I'm more fit for. Because
as you should.
The president of the United States just walked in and said, "I have a reality TV show. I have a lot of money."
You can be the first male USA pageant candidate. You absolutely can. Because what's stopping you? You don't have to qualify.
Mixing millennial thoughts with presidential behavior, pretty much.
That's it.
So,
who has to qualify for anything anymore?
Yeah, what are qualifications anymore, right?
What is a qualification?
Exactly.
It's necessary.
Antiquated details. Now I want to get into my person of the month, though. Mm-hmm. This is really this is crazy for me. I really it's crazy that this happened. I think it's 2004. I think she was indicted. 2006 convicted. Indicted. I think it's 2006. I forgot to confirm that. But her name is Cyntoia Brown. Cyntoia Brown. I watched a documentary. It's called I think it's My Life Behind Bars or something like that. She probably gotten that right too. But she was a foster kid who was adopted by her mother's teacher, high school teacher. Mm-hmm. And she moved in with the mother's high school teacher when she was 2 years old, I think it was. And got into all, listen, man, your mom's your backbone, my mom's my backbone, and I'm sure your parents are your backbone too, Fatima, or your family is. But this girl removed from her family, all types of issues came up. She started questioning things like, where my family? No one loves me, things like that. And it was it's understandable as a young child, and got in with the wrong crowd and eventually ran away from home. And her stepmother said she was always the type of girl to be closed off a little bit, but very smart, very, very enthusiastic or whatever. But she got into the wrong crowd and got into drugs, alcohol, and eventually prostitution. And was picked up by a man. I was a construction worker, a local construction worker in Tennessee somewhere. And at that point of her life, she was beaten, she was raped, she was robbed, she was attacked. He abruptly reached for something on the side of the bed after showing her all of his guns, after telling her that a lot of women want his money. He likes to be in control. He wants to be with a woman who could, I think it was who could submit to me or something like that. 16 years old. Mm-hmm. And the guy abruptly reached for something on the side of the bed, and she had a handgun in her bag. And listen, I've been 16 before. I made some decisions back then. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here and try to defend it. But shouldn't she be awarded that at least the reason, like the consideration that she's a 16-year-old kid? Mm-hmm. So she was tried, I think, on 4 counts of murder, aggravated assault, robbery, convicted, and sentenced to life in prison.
Unbelievable.
She's not up for parole until she'll be 69 years old. She's now 29 years old. She was, I think, convicted at 17 or 18. She was convicted. Mm-hmm.
And this echoes the story of the Menendez brothers also.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, of course, like subjective to whether you believe the alibi or not, that they were abused and raped as children by their father,
Mm-hmm.
and the mother allowed for it to happen, was fully aware of it, allowed it to happen. Now they conspired together and murdered them. Are they forgiven because they were abused? Is it excusable to murder someone, murder your aggressor, or even to fight back, and in the event of fighting back, murder them?
Right.
Is it okay to dismiss the fact that a life was lost, no matter how cruel or, you know, corrupt that life might have been? Like, it would even come down to a matter of your life versus their own.
Right.
Is it excusable?
But it's not even like not. What happened to them? Were they convicted?
Yeah, they're still in prison. They're going to be in prison for life.
Not to like diminish the severity of that case, but that was premeditated.
Mm-hmm.
The Menendez brothers.
Mm-hmm.
This is reactionary.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
At 16.
Right.
I mean, isn't she allowed that? You know, at least that luxury. I'm a 16-year-old kid who reacted abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how you try it as an adult? I just can't wrap my head around that. Try it as an adult and wouldn't be up for parole until she's 70 years old.
You know why I think it's easier for them to do that? Because she's in the foster care system, so this year is a ward of the state. There isn't a family or something that's going to be devastated that she's now going to be in prison for.
But it was a jury. It was a jury of her peers, though. You know, it was a jury, and it's like, to me, it's like, how can you go home and look at your kids after that? I just can't wrap my head around that. So, nevertheless, like, and this is where Brittany's gonna start smiling. I commend Kim Kardashian and Rihanna.
I'm sorry.
I commend Kim Kardashian.
Oh, let's put both mics on that. What did you say?
So you're a Kim K fan.
Oh, Kim Kardashian.
These compliments are gonna come few and far between. Trust me.
Marlon hates Kim.
I hate the entire. No, not even her. Just
the whole family. Anyone connected to them,
anyone
that's ever dated them,
vultures.
Ever been married, ever fathered children for them.
They're both of their mothers too. I really. How can you have a change? Right? What's his name? Bruce Jenner change into Caitlyn Jenner, and then say I'm against gay marriage.
Yeah,
but then the reason is I've always been a traditionalist. Traditionalist?
He's a special case.
Yeah. Shut the hell up. All of them. Just
my bad.
But I really don't think. I think that the reason why I commend Kim and Rihanna and Snoop Dogg and I think it's LeBron James as well, got in there as well, is because they have a platform and they know that whatever they put out there, millions of people are going to see it.
Right.
And I do think that the more prominent, the more you move up through life, the more prominence you gain throughout your course of life, the greater your responsibility to give back and to bring others along gets. Like, it's just a natural way of things. I mean, no one would be wherever they are without somebody helping them in some way, shape, or form. Very few people build themselves up from the ground up, but you always look up to somebody, right? Especially in today's day and age when you can see your heroes, you see your idols in social media, on TV, and all those different aspects. And I feel like I have to commend them for Rihanna. I think Rihanna got it started. Rihanna saw the documentary because it aired in Nashville, something like that. So Rihanna picked it up, and then Kim K retweeted it, regrammed it, and she spoke about the end of it. She said, I contacted my lawyers and I asked them, like, what can we do?
Right,
and
that's awesome.
I hope it's true. I have no reason to believe it's not true that she did. But that means something. It really does. Because now we're all talking about it.
Right.
You know? And that's the least I can ask for.
Yeah.
I don't really don't really like much. I don't really agree with a lot with what she stands for.
Right.
But on that day, I was a Kim K supporter for about that 10 seconds. So.
She does good. She does good.
She does.
I just hope that Centoya Brown, who's now 29 years old. I mean, come on, like. I just don't think we as a society don't see black kids as kids.
Yes.
We don't see black kids. Trayvon Martin. I was speaking to somebody about Trayvon Martin, and George Zimmerman. And I remember talking about it because it was the anniversary, and he goes, man, they're both idiots. And I'm like, no, he was a kid. Mm-hmm. He was 13. No, he was 12, I think. No, he was 13. He was 13. That guy was, how old? He's 29, I think.
Yeah.
He was 13. Like, you're not, like, don't you see that? Like, he's a kid, he's an idiot. Yeah, he's an idiot. Like, well, that must be nice, right? He can be, like, like, you can sit there on your high horse and see us, Black people, as being adults. We have to, society makes it so that we have to grow up faster.
Yes, and that's how.
There's no being a kid. Mm-hmm. I don't have that luxury. I don't have the luxury. Well, he's young. He's just doing dumb things.
Right. That innocence.
Because you're gonna end up in jail for life.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna end up dead. And it's I wish that I can bring people into my shoes. Like when you see these things on TV and you look like those people, what am I supposed to feel?
Right.
What am I supposed to feel? Mm-hmm. If I'm looking like the person on TV who just walking home with a hoodie, and I like wearing my hoodie. Like when it's cold outside and when I don't shave, like I like wearing my hoodie. Yeah. You know? What the hell? Like I might just end up dead because I look ominous. Come on, man. Mm-hmm. But I'm an idiot if I react in a way that I expect. You know, if I react irrationally at 13, I you can't really argue it. You know, I feel like I can't argue ignorance because these people aren't even going to come bring themselves over to my shoes.
Right, so. But I mean, if you're thinking about the criminal justice system doing the same, you know, they're treating people, these children, especially like who you're saying, like they gave her pretty much life in prison because she's. Because she's 16.
She was 16 years old. I just don't see how you can look at that girl, hear her story, and then say, no, she's a threat to society. She's going for life. Mm-hmm. And it's like, she's a kid, man. Right.
I think this is going to be related. I mean, not exactly related, but to my worst person of the month.
Got you.
So when we get there.
Mm-hmm. Happy thoughts for now.
Uh-huh. Yay!
All right, Fatimat, your go.
You know, I feel like the world is just so Debbie Downer that it took me the longest to find like something.
It's the hardest thing to find. It's the hardest thing to find.
Right. And I mean, this is not like per se a person, but it's a group of people coming together collectively and just trying to make a change, just like your folks. But recently, the GOP is trying to pass this tax bill, which they're just like grabbing at air to.
Well, I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but I was reading this morning that many accounts came out that the GOP, Mitch McConnell, and a few other representatives say that they do have the votes. But go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So they actually, I think it's going to be moved. It's going to the Senate now for a vote. So it's kind of close. And what's his name?
Paul Ryan?
No. What's his name?
Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, the veteran. What's his name? McCain.
Yeah, McCain. So McCain is also, he vouched that he would be voting for it. So it's close. But, you know, this bill is attacking the poor and people who really don't have the means. Right. And, you know, one group that came out and like did a rally, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, was grad students. So the tax bill is pretty much is trying to tax grad students, PhD students, you know, higher education folks who are getting not free tuition, but they're paying their tuition and then they also get like a stipend. So let's say if you are a PhD student and then you work for the lab or something and you get a specific stipend. What the GOP plans on doing with this tax bill is, let's say your tuition is $40,000, right? And then you get a stipend of $35,000. So they're going to treat you as somebody who is making $40,000 and $35,000. So you're going to be getting taxed on this $35,000 that you're getting as a stipend. So even though this money is coming to you freely, you're going to get taxed on it, and then you're going to get taxed on So on your tuition. So it's kind of a blow to people who
kind of
right, and then people. It's kind of like terrible.
It's kind of a trick.
But like people who, let's say, are getting these stipends. They're looking at taxes that can double, triple what they expect to pay at the end of the year. So it's just like it's crazy how like they're reaching for whoever that really can't say much. Already this bill is just not really in favor of, and that's why you see all these like rich folks, going through tax evasions because like, they're so greedy. Like you have like this tax cut, I mean, like, yes, if you make a certain amount, yes, you do get taxed more.
Yeah.
But like
comparatively, I mean, you get hold on a second. You get taxed more fiscal dollars, more dollars, but the percentage, according to this GOP plan, is going to be lower than the average household, right? I think that's how it shakes out now.
Okay.
With the new overhaul, is that yes, you'll be taxed more in terms of the actual dollars being given to the government, but your percentage is lower.
Interesting.
Than a lot of low income Americans, which is
yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, for corporations and like these people who are getting like tax credits and stuff like that. But yeah,
I asked you this. All right, so I mean, let me just focus this question. Let me just we're all educated people.
Lord.
How the fuck does that make any sense?
Right.
How in the world, right? If you over here with your Big Mac, right? But in case it's gonna be a vegan Big Mac, but you over here with
I'm actually in grad school right now. Listen,
right. And you're in grad school,
yeah.
And you're Fatima's out here with this. She has the fries on the side, and then she has big old drink, and then they go, you're gonna pay $2 for that, but I have my my McDouble and I have my 4-piece nugget, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna be like, well, all right, so you're gonna so the way for this company to work is that since there's gonna be more of you guys than her, we're gonna charge you more though, because you guys don't eat, you guys are not gonna pay that much, so we're gonna charge you more because there's more of you. What's 30% of 0?
Oh wait.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna look at each other like we're stupid. Like
right.
I don't understand, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's kind of like it doesn't.
It's a deterrent.
It's a deterrent.
A huge deterrent.
But then you're and going back to your what you were saying about grad students. How are we putting a price on education? You know what? An education started out as a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's you speak to people. Like I learned something, and I'm telling you what I've learned, and now you know what I've learned, and you can improve upon it, or you can take it, you can use it, and do whatever you want to do with it. We've put a price on conversation, formalized conversation
that we don't even know how to have anymore.
Right. Well, yeah. We're not doing too well with that right now. But I feel like just look at it from that lens. It's like I get it. The light need to go on somehow. I understand that, but private institutions should be able to operate separately than a public institution. Say if I go to Baruch or one of these CUNY colleges, whatever, I shouldn't be like maybe we can be in that gray area where those students aren't subjected to that. Or the students who go to Fordham or the ones who go to NYU or whatever, maybe they'll be subjected to that. I'm not sure what school you're going to, but
Villanova.
Oh jeez.
Nova. All day.
Oh man. I'm actually a North Carolina fan, so
oh man,
yeah, that's awkward.
Don't look each other in the eye.
I mean, I appreciate that you guys won last year, this year. So good work.
Every dog has a day.
Okay.
We've had.
I'm excited for March Madness.
We've had a few days. I had somebody on my podcast, Chanasa Wakacha, who's actually went to Villanova as well.
Lit.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got a great community out there. She started her own clothing brand called Ataria NYC.
I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So she was on the podcast as well.
Nice.
And super cool. Hey, what's up? So anyways, yeah, grad school students. Sorry. Where was the protest though?
No, it was pretty much all over the United States.
I didn't know
so
about
yeah,
this.
I was really excited because like all different campuses, grad students came out and just pretty much rallied and saying like, this is not cool. And it does hinder like people who are interested in going to grad school in the future. If this is getting too expensive, if like, yes, I might not be like paying all that now, but the debt, like you probably plan on going into debt of maybe like 80, but now you're thinking now it's like 90 or 100. Yes. Like,
you're starting in the hole a lot further than what you expected. But you're already in the hole starting anyway.
Exactly.
And that back to that free conversation that we were talking about before. Now that's costing $90,000 just to have that conversation. Like,
right.
And it's.
So it's going to impact, I don't know, nice. Like, the sciences and people. I mean, America needs more STEM, and the fact that, right, you're targeting people who are, I mean, like, STEM is a big PhD type, direction as far as like getting your degree and stuff. But like, if you have people who really can't afford it, like granted, like maybe if you are a neurosurgeon and you graduate in crazy debt, you'll be making that money back. The return on investment is pretty high for stuff like that. But like if you maybe are a writer and you decide you want to get your MFA and and this is like the deterrent for you, like it's not. I wouldn't continue with it. So
So I guess that was Fatima's best of the month, and we actually are
right. It's like
we're all depressed right now. So.
How are you doing?
Discouraging times.
I mean, but keeping up with people who are discouraging. Oh, geez, I was raised by my mother, right? Mm-hmm. And I know my dad, and we have a relationship, but it's not strong, right? And I wish I had a dad like that, like LeVar Ball. I really do. I really wish I had a dad like LeVar Ball. Mm-hmm. And I wish LeVar Ball would shut the hell up sometimes.
That too. That'd be nice.
So, yeah. So we all know LeVar Ball went to LeAngelo Ball, the middle child, went to China with UCLA to do like a ambassador like type. Like it's like so the NCAA, the United States has certain like initiatives with China to like kind of initiate like interaction. So they'll kick off the NCAA basketball season in China. A few years ago, there was actually a program where Chinese universities would play against United States universities, and what ended up happening was a brawl between like Shanghai University and Georgetown. That was great. That was great. So this year they're like, you know what? We're not gonna have anyone play cross culturally. We're gonna just play ourselves. We're just gonna play United States teams against United States teams in Chinese stadiums. So that's what they did, and they're kids. But anyways, LeAngelo Ball and two other students were arrested for shoplifting in China. And the thing about China is that it's a closed off society. It's a closed off culture. It's just communist, and it's been held secluded for a very long time. I've studied abroad in China. I've worked in China. It's a culture that is so enamored with me being black that it's coming from the same place that I think that I say this. It's coming from the same place that slavery is born out of. Mm. They're enamored with me just because I'm black because they haven't seen it before.
Right.
And
it's so
well, I mean, I've also heard people who just go to China who are black and they're just stopped and pictures are taken.
Oh no!
And touch your skin.
Oh no! So, that happens. Oh no! So the first time my first trip there, and I apologize for this. I went there and I really felt offended. I was like, "What the hell are you to just take a picture of me as I'm walking down the street?" Second time I went, I was like, "You know what? I got these student loans. I got these student loans to pay.
$5 each.
Yeah.
Bring that baby. $5. Like that was it. So I was taking pictures with babies for $5.
And they paid you?
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh, that's good to
hell
know.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah, yeah. It was. But it was.
That's a hustle.
That's good to know.
I like that.
I'm about to go over there.
I netted positive.
Yeah, flip it.
But it was amazing because the culture was so that they were just very. It was like there was observant. I was observant. I'm sorry, observant of me, like seeing where, like, what do I like, what don't I like, how do I speak, how do I dress, how do I walk, how do I talk, stuff like that. And because they don't know,
right?
So I understood during my friendship. I understood that Marlon, like these people just don't know. So remember that you're representing not only you, but your everyone who looks like you. So when I came back the second year, I came back ready and prepared to do and say and act in a certain way, that do things, say things, act in a certain way that
that's why it's important to travel.
Right.
Yeah.
You give your perspective.
Right.
And it was a great trip. And when I look at Leandra Ball, and I couldn't help but think about when I first went there, and the difference between my first time and my second time. The first time I was mad and I was removed from how they were reacting to however I acted. The second time I knew that and I acted more accordingly or more better representative of how I was raised. And I think LeAngelo Ball really messed up because a lot of those people who are now reading the news about him and looking at how he acted and the things that he and his classmates did, teammates did, that's not a representation there, and that's a secluded society that now has antiquated information about us, right. And now has incorrect information about us, but it's so closed off. Now that's the gospel to a lot of people because they don't know any better, and it's not like, oh, they're racist, whatever. No. It's just the way that the society is set up is that it's so removed from interaction and social aspects of different cultures, and I feel like now there's gonna be a lot of work to be done now when you travel. Like I remember we traveled there right after the Bush years, and having to answer for a lot of the shit that Bush did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like people
told me about.
People would be like, what the hell are you guys thinking about Iraq? I'm like,
oh man, I wonder what
we didn't want to do it. We didn't want to do it. Like, yeah, right. Like no, trust me. You know, like we're not trying to, like, we don't even like Bush, like, and I've actually had people tell me, like, listen, we love Americans. We don't know about your government, man.
Right.
Something's wrong with you guys.
Yeah.
And it's just because, like, from afar, you know, you gotta, like, we all have to answer for this, and you're already hearing stories about other more open cultures having to answer for where Americans have to answer for Trump. So now, in a secluded culture where the information is not so free flowing, this might stick a long time.
Right.
You know, and I don't hold it against the Chinese people because that's just their culture. I hold it against communism, but not the people, because that's what you're born and raised in. And I can only imagine what's going to happen to the study abroad students coming up this year. They're going to be like, no, I'm not trying to steal your stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna start.
I'm not. But it's like, where we can say it's prejudice here is because you know better. But I don't think they know better there. I don't think they know better. I really don't. I'm not saying that they're simple-minded people, but it's just that's just, if one, like you know what I mean? Like if that's like, if this is the first black person you've seen and they did that to you, oh, guess what?
So are you saying because it's like super publicized over there?
Yeah, because reports are coming out that the government is already using it as an example of what democracy does. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
even when I went to London too, just piggybacking off of the whole thing about when you go to different cultures, they're asking you to be a representative of what America or Americans are like. I went to London and just went to a festival with a friend, and of course there's black people in London, plenty of black people in London. These black people came up to me because they heard my American accent. Like, oh my God, you're American.
Hi.
So they're like, so what is going on in America? Like, is it just open season on black people?
Oh my goodness.
This is last summer. So this was like in the height of all of the police brutality, and they just didn't get it. It was just something that doesn't happen. Police officers in London don't carry guns.
No.
There's no need. So this concept of police brutality is so foreign to them. But of course, at the same time, racism, of course, is pretty much universal. Like, it happens everywhere. But the whole idea of police brutality is not a thing for them. And they were asking me what was going on. I told them I don't know. I was like, I can't tell you. I can't explain to you what's happening. I don't know.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think that that's why it's so important. Like Fatima's right. You just have to travel. You got to gain that perspective.
Right.
You got to see how people are perceiving you, and don't hold it against them. But there's different cultures who are as maybe you're very patriotic in your own way, but you can go to another country and you can see somebody equally as patriotic in their own way, and then that's when it's gonna make you calm the hell down,
humble yourself.
Yeah, because it's like, wow, like we're coming from the same place with two different backgrounds,
right?
So, and then add to all this, his father then gets on. Like, listen, if my son, this happened to my son, I'm gonna say thank you. You don't have to. He said, I'm not gonna say thank you. Why? Like what? Granted, Trump tweeted out, "Oh, no one said thank you," whatever. Oh, shut up. Just shut the hell up, man. Like, I'm just tired of it. Like, just shut up. Shut up. You're president. You're the president of this country. Be presidential. Come on, man. Be an adult. Be an adult. But yes, he's right though. No one said thank you. Right. And the ball was just like, yeah, I didn't say thank you. I'm not gonna say thank you. So I don't know what y'all talking to me about.
Right.
I'm like, why are you not gonna say thank you? He goes, why do I have to say thank you? He was there because he was on a trip. He wasn't there because he needed to save my kids, like my kid. Like, wow. Mm-hmm. All right. You know what? You're ungrateful. Yeah, that's ungrateful, but
everybody got to swing their dick in a circle.
Exactly.
I'm telling you.
I will write that down.
It happens everywhere.
Next
I'm telling you.
Blog post.
It happens
counterclockwise.
I'm not down your dick. You're not down the line. So here we are.
But it's like I feel like now the rest of the world is watching this now as this. We've already established this, right? That information sticks certain places.
Right.
So now we have an entire country that maybe it's not confirmed though. So I'm not going to say it's fact, but it's maybe using or have probable cause to use as an example as to why democracy doesn't work. Right. And now they're going to show. Oh, by the way, here's what's going on over there. Like, here's what's going on. Like, all this happened, and then the father says this to them. Like, oh, I'm not gonna thank you. Like, we don't teach that in China. We teach reverence. We teach respect. We teach respect for authority and for different people and for family. And they don't have any of that there, and everyone's watching. Yeah. So, I'm not sure if you want to get into yours, to your words of the month, or you want to go on to your personal topic, because I think that's going to be.
I mean, I think we should, since it kind of piggybacks off of earlier topic.
You're so right. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. No. So, if you don't know, this is about sexual harassment and the ever-growing list.
It's getting sexy in here. Here's the workplace.
Very sexy. I think Weinstein was the one that kind of it kind of like started this, not to say started, but like we're seeing a lot of people coming up and saying, hey, I felt uncomfortable at this time and stage when I was working with this person and so. And I think New York Times has like a list of people who have been removed from their post or let go because of what has been going on. And most recently, there is Matt.
Matt Lauer.
Yeah, and then there's that came out yesterday. I haven't read all that. Please tell me.
So apparently Russell. So a model accused. Well, this one that I read that a model said that she went to like an audition for a commercial or something like that.
1991, mind you.
Ooh.
So.
And
I feel like. So I know you mentioned the date, but I feel like this is a period where
strength in numbers.
Women are now comfortable enough to speak. They don't feel that they'll be silenced because in 1991, damn right, like nobody, and like it wouldn't like even if you were to tell people, it'll kind of be like, well, next time, wear something, more demure. Like, don't dress as so provocative.
Don't
and
stay
like,
out so late.
Roy Moore, this politician, I think Alabama, and the church is pretty much like rallying. Like, he's having his rallies at church. Like, like they're kind of like saying that it's all right. Like, he's asked for forgiveness and it's fine. But I feel like now, like, people are comfortable and people know that, like, they have the right to come out and say something. And it might have happened, like, when you were younger, but, like, it still stays with you. Like, if you were, touched or molested, or you felt uncomfortable in that sense, and, you had to keep silent and you couldn't, like, come out and say directly, like, this is what happened, like, damn right. If you give me the podium, I'm gonna speak. So I'm just happy that like, a lot of women are coming out. I think we meant to. What's his name?
Terry Crews.
Yeah, he came out and spoke about, like.
Yeah. that was right, because his also was like, listen, if I punch this guy in his face right now, what you're gonna hear is a big black guy just did this.
Right.
So I looked at my wife, and then she looked at me, and we were just like, you know what?
Let's do something.
None you can do right now, but in that later on, And the guy came out. The name came out. I forgot what name it was.
It was like a director.
Yeah. These are like exactly. You don't even you don't think about. I don't know. I never knew how Harvey Weinstein was.
Right. You don't think about who
consumers don't know who these people are. Exactly. But the really creepy one was the Russell Simmons one, where Brett Ratner. Because apparently, so the story that I heard was that Russell Simmons was she was the model was, I think, trying out for a part, and Russell Simmons tried to, like, seduce her, and they're in a room. It's her, Brett Ratner, and Russell Simmons, and she remember looking over at Brett Ratner like help me, and so she looked over at him and said the look in his eyes. She was like, oh no. There's nothing I can do here. And she said that she tried fighting back, and Russell Simmons just, like, took advantage of her, and that was it. I was just like,
it's so deep.
That's what I read, and I wish, like, I didn't know, like, that was necessarily what you were going to bring up, but I would have had it ready to go, the actual article, and try to find it. But yes, that's what I think happened. Let me just make sure before.
I mean, the fact that he decided to step down means that he was in some hot water. So,
right.
Or there was even more women that would come forward. It's like, let me just get ahead of
I'm
this.
sure, like, a lot of these men are just, like, getting ready, or just, like, in shakes, like, just like, whoa, I might be next.
Her name was the lady's name was Jenny Lumet. Comes forward claiming that he raped her in the early 1990s.
No.
There we go.
There's 2 women that came forward so far. Yeah. But that's the thing, guys, too. Like, I work in media, and it's, of course, not advocating it, not saying it's okay.
It happens. Right?
It happens. And the thing is that some women voluntarily enter into relations with these people just to
knowing how the
get
game
a
is
job,
played. Some of them,
just to get taken care of. You buy me some stuff. Like, I get to go to go with you to these cool little parties. So there's that. So once you've already, like, as the man, the executive, whatever, the person in power enters into that sort of relationship, all women start to look the same in that aspect. Like, oh, I can just wine and dine you a little bit. You'll be okay with whatever I do with you, to you, all of that. So I can see, and again, not advocating it, could never say that this is okay. I could see in a powerful man's mind how a woman can slowly over time become an object.
Right.
And it's not about how you feel about any of it. I just know step 1, flirt with you a little bit, make you feel good. Step 2,
the fact that
buy
I was
you
able
something.
to get away with it a couple of times, or, this was okay for me a couple of times, what makes you any different?
Right. And I already know in my head, people in general always just want something from me. If I give you a little something, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. Because everybody just wants to be around, everyone wants to be cool, wants to say, oh yeah, I know this person who hangs out with this, It's always like that. So I can see that just becoming a slow dehumanization of women in general in their mind. So once this happens, they're looking back like, wait, no, like, I just treated you like I treated everybody else. Like, why are you tripping? Like, it's no big deal. Like I do this all the time.
Right.
No, I think there's also those special cases
Of
where
course.
you do way too much.
Right. When
And
it's a plot.
If
like
somebody
Weinstein.
says no,
yeah,
I mean it's no.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's
plot, Weinstein, that guy.
That was strategic.
So,
and it was the same plot every time, which was
Yeah.
killing me. Everybody was coming from the same
That's
story.
exactly
I was
how
like,
you bring them to the house,
Yeah.
for a little thing, close up the door
Yeah.
behind them.
Me
And
first,
then,
you want a
come back.
massage? You look stressed out. I think you'll relax if you give me a massage.
Okay.
That was killing me. I was like, you can't be
That's
serious.
not
Have you
even
seen
sexy.
yourself?
Like,
Right?
ew.
Have you looked in the mirror, sir?
No.
No.
That's power.
Oh, that's power. It's all it is.
Her name is what the hell's her name? I lost her name. But her last name is Kaligi. Said that the music
Carrie.
with Carrie?
Mhm.
Yes, there we go. Carrie Clausen Kaligi said that the music mogul began making inappropriate advances towards her, aggressively yanking off her clothes. She looked over at Brad Ratner and said, "Help me," and never forget the look in his face. In that moment, the realization fell upon me that they were in it together.
Mhm.
Kaligi accuses Simmons of trying to force her to have intercourse with him, but she quote unquote fought it wildly. Eventually, Simmons gave up and instead turned to coercing her to perform oral sex on him. The whole time, she said Ratner just quote unquote sat there and watched.
Mhm.
This is from the Grapevine, thegrapevine.theroot.com. That's I'm not sure if they got it from somewhere else, but that's the story that I read. But yes,
no, it came up. Like I was just looking up sexual harassment in Russell Simmons when it came up. So
It's going to keep happening.
He's
Because
vegan,
you can
by the
only
way.
imagine how many times it happens.
Right.
It probably happens in my workplace.
It does.
And I don't even know
It does.
Happens across the street at
Right.
another building. You don't even know it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I was raised by women. I love the women in my family and my life, and I just don't know how you can do that to a woman. I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna bring it back home, like as I did with Centoya Brown. Like I'm gonna bring it back home. Like if you have a woman in your life, if you have women in your life who you love and who you cherish, you have a daughter, a wife, mother, grandmother. How can you do that? You know,
it's a dehumanization. They're not women.
That's what it is.
so then.
Mhm.
I
It's not the same.
now I want to put the onus on the women and women in all these men's lives, the ones who've at least admitted to it, and the ones who at least take steps to cover it up that you've noticed in your life. What are you doing? Like now you got to look at that person and like, no, you're a piece of shit. You really are. And I mean, now you got to
he has 2 daughters. I just
and he
remembered
has
that.
2 daughters.
Yeah.
And he has 2 daughters.
One, I think, is
How could
17,
you?
18.
How could you? Like I just don't. I don't.
Right.
That's sick.
And when you're in Hollywood, you're about that age if you think about it.
Mhm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
Very
early
true.
20s.
I think.
Yeah.
Let me see how. I believe she was very young at the time too. This girl.
Oh, models is generally very young.
Mhm. 17.
She was
Yeah.
17 years old.
He stepped down so quick. He was like, y'all don't even have to.
You know what? Forget
Don't
it.
worry about it. I'll just remove myself.
You won't hear anything
And
from
that's
me.
exactly what he
I'm just
did.
answering calls at home.
Don't worry.
about
Send me a
It's
check,
fine.
baby. I don't know.
She's like, man, I don't know what y'all talking about, but I'm gonna leave though.
Right. Get your rush card today.
Oh man.
I'll be behind the scenes.
Well,
Mhm.
so we're gonna end this with some personal topics, some closing thoughts.
Mhm.
So, I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, yeah. So recently, very strangely, like actually just this week, it's been like a reoccurring topic of people getting into some sort of spirituality, some sort of like manifestation of their dreams, of their positive energy, things like that, like getting into stones, getting into crystals, someone being like really ill and having to maintain a positive mindset in order to get through that. And I personally do believe in the idea of manifesting things in your mind, positive or negative. Like when it comes to vision boards, like at work.
My goodness.
At work, we just had a vision board party, which was so much fun.
I
But
want to
it's
do one.
yeah, oh gosh, it really is just so good. Just go on Pinterest and
I know,
just put some, like you already have your thoughts, your goals for the next year. Just putting it all out on a board and having it laid out like with quotes and like, you know, like an actual visualization of what it is. Like if you want to do
The
apartment,
steps towards
what
your
does it
goal.
look
Right.
like? Yeah, just actually seeing it. It's something about it. I don't know. I can't tell you if it's within you or if it's God or if it's a like the universe just saying, okay, now that you've put it out into the world in a physical place, now it can actually be brought forth in front of you. So I believe it. I believe in manifestation in your mind 100%. And I was talking to Marlon about stones. I have a friend that got into like stones and crystals and things like that. And she was saying that there's a specific stone for, I think, happiness or positivity, something like that, right? Right?
Just making it up.
Yeah.
No,
So she said that she held on to the stone, like already knowing in her mind that the stone is supposed to make her feel happy, whatever the case is. And she said that she was just very happy. And she saw the energy of her positivity going on to somebody else. And that person was really happy. But I personally understood it to be you've told yourself, okay, this cell phone is supposed to make me happy. If I hold on to it, meditate, focus on it, this stone is supposed to make me happy, I'll then become happy. It seems to me that this is just in your mind. You're telling yourself, okay, and you just need something in the physical world to say, okay, this, like that I'm holding, that it can physically feel, is what's supposed to make me happy, and that can then manifest in your mind to say, okay, now I'm happy. So yeah, that's just something that's been really interesting this week.
I see both.
Yeah.
I see the physical and I see the natural aspect of it. I feel like we are one with the earth. And not to say, but I feel like being a vegan does make you one with the earth. And I also think it comes with age because funny, I have this friend, Kristen, and she does yoga. She started just doing yoga just to meditate and just to like relax and stuff like that. And now she's a yoga teacher. But like she uses the stones as well. And you know, when she was my age, she's like 3 or 4 years older than me. I met her like she was my age now, and that's when she actually started like doing yoga and like getting the rocks and the metals or and now she's at this place and this is pretty much her mantra. This is her focus. And I feel like once you get to a certain age and you have a goal or you feel that you want to do something different or like you need something in your life that needs to change, I feel like that's the direction that you go to. And if you know, maybe, you know, church might be an outlet as well, but I feel like the folks who actually don't go to church are usually the ones that go that direction. And I definitely see myself going in that direction myself.
I think that it goes back to why belief is so important. If you find like a lot of times, a lot of these things give you a sense of purpose, a sense of motivation, a sense of compassion, you know, and whatever it
grounds
is.
You.
Yeah. And I was telling Brittany earlier, it's kind of like we're all taking different roads, but to the same place. We're all trying to find that purpose. We're all trying to find that essence that we're seeking to identify with. And we just choose different methods of doing it. You know, some of us have different, rather believe in physical objects and things like that that we see and that has characteristics that we're looking for. And some of us believe in religion and in the spiritual aspect that of stories that were passed on from generation to generation. So, I feel like this is the time of our lives where we're trying to figure that out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
My personal topic was actually about Philadelphia.
Yeah, tell me more about this Philly.
Yeah, so I'm a huge New York Giants fan, so I really hate Philadelphia. I'm a New York Knicks fan. I hate Philadelphia.
Okay. How about
Philadelphia is my second most hated city next to Boston because honestly, if Boston crashed and burned tomorrow, I'd probably celebrate.
Wow.
I'm playing. No, I'm really not. I'm really not.
Wow.
You're from Boston. Just
I hate Boston. Really hate Boston.
Wow.
But obviously this is all within the realm of sports, and I've been so, you know, with the NFL season recently starting, and well, it's actually almost midway, almost past midway now, but a lot of the Philadelphia Eagles players are very, very active in the community, more so than any other team I can think of in the league. This all started. I noticed this trend back when Connor Barwin, a white man, who used to play for the University. He played for the University of Cincinnati and went to the Houston Texans, and then I guess free agency went to the Philadelphia Eagles and built a park when he was there because he noticed that the community needed one.
Oh, I think I know this story.
Yeah, and then he leaves. He left. He's not playing for the St. Louis Rams. Los Angeles Rams. Then Malcolm Jenkins comes. Malcolm Jenkins went to Ohio State University and was drafted by the Saints, and then went to Philadelphia. Malcolm Jenkins is now, like, I have his credentials here. He's written for something called what's this organization called? Well, he has the Malcolm Jenkins Foundation, his own foundation where he does community work all across Philadelphia. He works for a local blog / like citizen journalism type website there that the name is eluding right now. But do I have it here? I don't have it bookmarked actually, but no, I don't have it bookmarked. He works for a citizen journalism site in Philadelphia where he details every week a different part of the criminal justice system that needs to be reformed. NFL player, you know. And then you have Chris Long, whose father is a Hall of Fame football player, who was drafted to the St. Louis Rams, and he went to another team before, and now he's on the Eagles, Patriots. He was on the Patriots before, now he's on the Eagles. Who came there? He's from Charlottesville, Virginia, where the riots happened this past summer. And being from that city, being from that town, he took it upon himself to show the world that we're all not like that. Took it upon himself to then enact change in his own personal life in his community, and sending kids to school on his own dime, I believe.
That's awesome.
Philadelphia, like this just on the sports aspect, right? And these are men who are using their platform where they don't need to enact change. Furthermore, there's a guy, there's a barber who's going around. He's going around
giving free haircuts,
to the homeless. And God,
brotherly love. Listen, there's a reason why it's called.
His name is Brennan Jones, giving out free haircuts. And one day, a citizen, the owner of a barbershop said, "You know what? Use my barbershop for free to do this. You don't have to do it. You know, you don't have to do that." And then this past week, a lady, her name is Kate McClure, pulled over on the side of the road because she ran out of gas. A homeless guy gave her his last $20 bill.
Oh my God.
And then she started a GoFundMe to thank him. Raised over $350,000 in this guy's name.
Gosh.
Like, that's literally, this is what life is all about. We help each other.
Right.
If I have more than you and you need it, who the hell am I to say you don't deserve it?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you've been born into a worse situation than I am. And this is all happening in this one little city setting, right. You know? And those acts of selflessness, I think should be commended and noted and shined the spotlight upon. And then most recently, Larry Krasner, he's a district attorney who was just recently elected, piggybacking off of Malcolm Jenkins, who's writing about different aspects of the criminal justice section. He wants to end cash bail. He wants to enact cash bail reform. If you don't know what cash bail reform is, it's pretty much once you're indicted or you're being held for a certain crime, you're given bail or bonds or whatever that you can't pay. You simply cannot pay for certain petty crimes, and those people then are forced to stay in prison or stay in jail, held up in those places for however long it takes for their trials for the cases to be heard.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
We want to reform mass incarceration, and let me follow. She wants to reform mass incarceration, and there's one other thing I want to bring up too. This is a really big issue too. Views addiction as a medical problem rather than a crime. It's a heavy topic because with this opioid epidemic, now where a lot of Americans are being awakened to the idea that addiction is not a criminal intent, but it's rather a medical issue. But so now opioid epidemics are being it's relieving a lot of the overall thought processes on what people think about drug use, right? Why wasn't marijuana ever thought of as one of those issues? I saw a tweet the other day, and the tweet was like, I just saw. I'm tired of looking at stories about how the white person used to open up a weed distribution center. Meanwhile, my cousin's being serving life sentence for being a doughboy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave you guys with that. Just think about that. I mean, on the one end, Philadelphia in and of itself, it's an amazing. It needs to be commended for. The citizens need to be commended because all this is unwarranted. And then think about that, though. Please don't tell me you don't see color. See color,
yes.
and see the parity between how we treat people who look like you and those who don't look like you.
Absolutely.
I'm about to guest take us out.
Well, I mean, so my big thing is the rise of Black people becoming vegan in America, per se. I think, vegan has always been, this thing of white people or upper class, or like you had to have money in order to be a vegan, and that's just not the case. And another thing is a lot of people kind of like stray away from becoming vegan because, first of all, the food is probably bland. It's probably just salads and tofu. And it's really not the case. What I've learned is that if you ever have something that you like, it's really as simple as just removing meat, removing that piece, like if you like rice and what's a dish? What's one dish that you like? I'll veganize it. Okay, like an actual dish.
I got right now. So this weekend, I'm gonna make some ribs. I have some vegetable rice on the side, and I'm probably make some kale.
Okay,
so let's like paella, for example. Then
paella, like you don't necessarily have. Okay, so paella is tough because it's just straight seafood.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can get mushrooms. Like you can shape them into like, I guess, a shrimp or whatever. And then there's also like vegan type looking shaped shrimp that you can. If you don't want that, like it's perfectly fine to have paella without fish and stuff like that. So pretty much what I've been so the New York Times, I'm obsessed with New York Times apparently. I don't have a subscription, so whoever wants to give me
at this rate you might get a free subscription
past that. And I unfortunately have Wall Street Journal, which is kind of anyway. But the New York Times just did like an article of like, people, black chefs and bloggers who are creating this pathway for people to follow, people to look up to, Black people to look up to, that are doing things within the community that can pretty much shape or convince people to like become vegan. In that sense, I was saying, it's always like, well, this is what I grew up on, and there's not. How am I supposed to like continue enjoying what I like? And there's this guy, I forget his name, Terry. I forget, but he created this cookbook, and it's pretty much a melding of like Caribbean, African, and like just soul food. And you can have like mac and cheese, you can have like this chicken, cauliflower chicken, like you can continue to have those flavors in a healthy way. Like it's not necessary that you grew up on pork and beans and you have to continue eating pork and beans. Like obesity is a big thing in America, like heart disease and cancer is a big thing in America. And like, you look at these documentaries or you look at these testimonials of people who have gone plant-based and eliminated like the pills that they've been using, or like, they dropped a tremendous amount of weight. And honestly, like, you can see or whatever, but if you're not ready to embrace it, if you're not ready to change as a person, as a being, like, then it'll be nothing to you. But the fact that, you know, we're seeing more and more Blacks within our community actually like promoting this and saying, hey, like, this is actually not bad, and look, I can still enjoy things. And honestly, like, you can be a junk food vegan too. Like, it's not necessary that you have to be like all veggies and, you know, and soups and stuff like that. You can actually eat some heavy food and just knock out after. I mean, not to say that, you know, that's what you want to do, but there's options.
Right.
So that's my thing. I feel like there's an up and coming, you know, like vegan movement, and it's great that it's coming to our communities. And I think it's really important, especially since, you know, the way that our food is sourced in the United States is just not the most ethical.
Yeah, that is factory farming is the thing. All right, Fatima, plug yourself.
Okay, well, so my thing is I'm a blogger, and you can find me on Instagram. It's called Jegbese, which is spelled Jegbese, and in Yoruba, which is my language in Nigeria, it means get out of debt or like in trouble. And pretty much what I'm trying to promote is that you don't have to spend a lot of money. My plan is to get out of debt because I have grad school debt that I need to get out of. But I still want to eat clean. I still want to eat healthy. And the goal is to eat healthy and budget and get out this debt as a vegan. So I think it's something that would help millennials like us, you know, people who don't have the means and think that it's impossible. Just want to show everybody that it is possible. So it's Jegbese, and then you can also find me on Twitter and my personal account as FB Adelabu, which is ADELABU.
That'll all be in the description of the episode too. So.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that then?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just telling myself. Okay, by the way, also my PayPal is.
This information ain't free, by the way. And Brittany?
Awesome. Oh, yeah. So I'm not like professionally doing anything on my own as yet.
Yeah, it's
2018, watch out.
Watch out for your girl.
Big plans are in the works.
Yes.
Plans 2018. But for right now, I'm at Brittany the Movie on Instagram.
Ooh.
That's TTANY, several spellings of Brittany. No Twitter.
Okay.
Never got into Twitter. Personal
It's
confession.
hard.
Oh, I
Never
love
got
Twitter.
into it.
You're on Twitter.
Yeah, I love like going to Twitter and like being like, just like. I don't like posting anything.
Right.
But yeah, you'll just see me there, just reposting cute
I will
things.
find you.
Yes, do it. Follow me.
Follow the Beautiful Minds on Twitter at the Beautiful MI3. I don't understand how that happened. People keep asking me, why is it MI3? I don't know. I have a personal Twitter account. I was making my Beautiful Minds Twitter account, and for some reason, I didn't get the option to write my own Twitter account. So I just clicked create.
Oh.
It was weird. Yeah, I thought it was a glitch. I clicked next. And it goes, yeah, you're live. I'm like,
complete.
What do you mean? So you can find me on Instagram at the Beautiful Minds, the.beautiful.minds, and Facebook.com/the Beautiful Minds. Facebook.com/thoughts for change.
Here we go.
Nice.
And these episodes come once a month, and everyone here on these episodes I tend to try to pull from my personal network, and we are all trying to do the same things in our own ways. So we're all trying to enact change in our own personal lives and trying to strive for a better world in our own community. So thank you for my viewers. Thank you for everyone. Thank you guys for coming out. It's late.
Yes.
It's 9:30 on a Friday.
Thank you for having me.
And Fatima, like, you know, full disclosure, too, I hit her up like noon today. Hey, by the way, yeah. And she was like, what?
Call me right now.
Yeah, call me now. And I called her. We spoke about it, and she the truth.
Anytime, I'll definitely be back.
Yeah, no, I don't think she has a choice. She's gonna be back. She has to. But before she comes back, I'm gonna have to try going on a vegan diet.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Hold up. For more than 24 hours.
Okay.
So we have to do this tonight. Let's go right now. Who has time? I sure do.
I got ribbons on my mind. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for tuning into episode 4 of the Millennial Perspective on the Beautiful Minds podcast.